and welcome to the Psych and Business Podcast, where we highlight the integration of psychology and psychological principles into the world of business and organizations. I'm your host, Dr. Ernest Wayde. Today, we're going to go back to talking about the critical leadership skills, behaviors, and characteristics. And today, I really want to focus on empathy because leaders need to be able to have and show empathy for the people that they are leading. But what is empathy? Now, I know that sometimes people will confuse sympathy and empathy. So let's start by defining sympathy and empathy and really making the distinction between the two of them. So, starting first with sympathy, if we look at the American Psychological Association of sympathy, sympathy is defined as feelings of concern or compassion resulting from an awareness of the suffering or sorrow of somebody else. So basically, when you feel bad for someone's negative experiences or suffering, you're experiencing sympathy. You typically feel pity towards them without really understanding their situation. And that's because it's really from your perspective. You're feeling sympathy for other people. Now, empathy, on the other hand, is really about understanding a person from their frame of reference rather than your own. It's basically like experiencing that person's feelings, their perceptions, and their thoughts. So you really have to step into their shoes and imagine what it would be like if you were experiencing that negative experience or that negative consequence or whatever it is that they're experiencing that you would like to feel empathy for. You really have to step into their shoes wholeheartedly. So before you can even experience empathy, you have to first perceive or see that someone is experiencing a challenging or negative experience. You have to really see that someone is experiencing negative emotions, maybe demonstrating behavior that shows you that they're experiencing negative thoughts and challenges. It really requires you to pay attention to your employees, to your team members, to your coworkers. In psychotherapy, therapists will use empathy for the client, and this can be a path for them to better understand the client's thinking, their feelings, their emotions, or their behaviors. Now, in the business setting, when we're talking about leaders, empathy is about creating an emotional bond with your employees. It's about putting yourself in their shoes so that you can better understand their experiences, which will help you to address their and your customers' needs. So put yourself in your employees' shoes, put yourself in your customers' shoes so that you can really understand their needs. It helps you to appreciate other people's perspectives in problem solving and in decision making. Empathy is even more important these days because in today's world, everyone experiences multiple stress from home and work. Global research shows that since the pandemic, 42% of people have experienced a decline in mental health. 67% of people are experiencing increases in stress, while 57 have increased anxiety and 54% are emotionally exhausted. And this all has a result on work performance. Research shows that at least 28% of people are having trouble concentrating, and at least 20% of them are taking longer to finish tasks. On the other hand, behaving in an empathic way as a leader will lead to a culture of trust, openness, cooperation within the organization, increases innovation, engagement, and retention within the employees. And this is why I love research because there's just so much information there. For example, research shows that employees with empathic leaders are 61% more likely to be innovative, 76% more likely to be engaged, 57% more likely to stay in the workplace, and 86% also report that they're better able to manage a healthy work-life balance with empathic leaders. So empathy in leaders clearly has a significant impact on employees. It also has an impact on the leader's ability to achieve business results. A Harvard Business Review article described empathy from the leader point of view to be about understanding our emotional impact on others and making changes as a result. Empathy is really more important to a successful business than it has ever been, correlating to growth, productivity, and earnings per employee. The Financial Times says the empathic leader will try to understand why their customers want to buy into their brand, not simply in a soft, touchy-feely way, but literally from their point of view, from standing in their shoes. This brings a powerful and compelling aspect to the design, build, and delivery of any product or service, the holy grail of business success, and one reason why some brands are market leaders, but most are not. So, how does a leader demonstrate empathy? Well, as I said, it starts with perception. It starts with observation. As a leader, you have to watch for signs of burnout, stress, emotional distress, negative experiences. You have to let them know that you care, to encourage them to be open and to share with you. Now, I'm not advocating that you become their therapist, but rather that you encourage greater communication about work-related challenges and stresses in a sincere way. Open up those lines of communication with your employees so that they are able and willing to come to you about challenges and barriers that they're experiencing at work. And when they share this with you, or when you observe employees going through these negative experiences, you really need to start by considering their thoughts through cognitive empathy. So ask yourself questions like, if I were in his or her shoes, if I were in his or her position, what would I be thinking right now? After experiencing this or after being in this experience, what would I be thinking right now? And take some time and think about that. What would you think if this happened to you? You can also focus on a person's feelings using emotional empathy. Ask yourself questions like, being in his or her position, what would I be feeling right now? How would this make me feel if this happened to me? Then it's really important to communicate to demonstrate your true understanding of the experience of the position that this person is. Talk to them about how you might feel. Talk to them about what you might be thinking in their position so that they can appreciate that you are really understanding what it is that they're going to. Express your concerns and inquire about challenges directly, and then listen to your employees' responses. Engage in active listening as to what they're saying, what they're experiencing, and how this is impacting them and their ability to do their work. Then offer to help. Show a willingness to provide assistance, however you can do so. As a leader, it's part of your role to remove professional barriers to help your employees be successful. And you can't do that if you don't know what they're going through. Now, remember, as a leader, you don't have to be an expert in mental health to show empathy. You just have to show that you care about your employees and that you are paying attention. Check in with them, ask them questions, and take cues from them about how much they want to share. And then listen when they're talking. Listen to them when they're sharing their concerns and their issues, and do the best you can to help mitigate these. All right, I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you'll join us again.